In 1788, the British Empire sent its worst criminals to die in Sydney. But today, this city is nearly 30% richer than London itself. While Britain boils in its own post-Brexit problems, Sydney has quietly stolen its future. How did a former penal colony outpace the global empire?
Let's look at the numbers that make Londoners' eyes twitch. According to official data from the Australian Fair Work Commission, the minimum wage here hits 26 Australian dollars per hour. But that's not the main thing. The real secret is penalty rates. The law requires employers to pay 25 to 50% more for weekend work. The UK hasn't had this kind of protection for the average worker in a long time. After taxes and insane London rent, a clerk in the UK is left with pennies. Meanwhile, a barista or electrician in Sydney has more disposable income at the end of the month. But hold on, such high wages usually kill an economy by driving inflation through the roof. How does Sydney survive without destroying itself from the inside? The answer lies in where this money actually goes.
Unlike London, where people hope for a state pension, Australia runs on the superannuation system. This isn't just a pension, it's a massive wealth fund. The total volume of these assets has already exceeded $3.5 trillion. This makes the country the owner of the fourth largest pension fund in the world. Employers are required to contribute 11.5% of every employee's salary directly into this investment fund. These trillions don't sit as dead weight. They are managed by Sydney's best financial minds, investing in global markets and technologies. It turns out every resident of Sydney, even with the simplest job, is a micro-investor in the global economy. But financial instruments alone aren't enough. Where does the real physical money come from to keep this system running like clockwork?
They control the building blocks of the future. Australia mines nearly half of the world's lithium and is the largest exporter of uranium. But Sydney is smart. It doesn't just sell raw ore. The city's financial and legal hub has created an ecosystem where the processing and trading of these critical minerals are taxed right here. Every battery in an electric car or a wind turbine in Europe indirectly boosts the budgets of Australian banks. While London played political games, Sydney seized control of the green energy supply chains. Usually, the resource curse turns countries into corrupt dictatorships. Why did it work here as rocket fuel for wealth rather than poison?
Now, let's talk about the dark side of this success, and I need to know your opinion. According to data from the well-known EY tracker, over 400 financial firms have already moved their assets, capital, and personnel from London to other jurisdictions. But the scariest part for Britain is the reverse brain drain. Young, ambitious analysts and IT specialists are massively applying for Australian visas. They are fleeing foggy London for sunny Sydney because the career ceiling is higher there. And here is the question for you. For centuries, Britain grew rich by draining resources and talent from its colonies. Now, a former colony is sucking capital and the best minds right out of the mother country. Is this historical justice or just cold, ruthless capitalism? Write one word in the comments: justice or capitalism. I'm genuinely curious which camp will win.
I can already read your thoughts. But Sydney is one of the most expensive cities in the world. The rent is crazy. And you're right. But let's look at facts, not emotions. If we look at the purchasing power index, even accounting for the high cost of rent, the disposable income of an average Sydneysider, after all mandatory expenses, is still 15 to 20% higher than that of a Londoner. Yes, life in Sydney is expensive, but it's expensive because there is actually something to buy and people to pay high wages to. In London, rent is high, but wages are stagnating. Those are two completely different things. The irony is that Britain created Sydney to get rid of its excess people, and those people and their descendants built an economic fortress that earns more than the very empire that created it. History doesn't repeat itself, but it definitely keeps score. And right now, the score is not in London's favor. Subscribe to Cash and Capital to know where the world's money is going while others sleep. See you in the next video.